us in this call, so I can kind of lead us through some of the preliminary stuff. We're going to go over some screen sharing, sitemaps, all that good stuff. Great. So this is our midpoint check-in call, as you guys know, for PurpleStride Indianapolis. We had our kickoff back in October. That was more big picture stuff. And this is kind of our next chance for us to check in, where we're going to get into more of the details. The agenda up on the screen is a little bit of our roadmap for the conversation, but it's meant to be a very collaborative call. So we definitely want you to chime in if you've got questions, suggestions. We might have some questions for you. We're going to do a lot of screen sharing, as I said, and we'll make changes to things while we talk right now. Ashley can make those changes like live in the moment. So we'll do some of that. Intros, I think it's friendly faces here. Everyone from the October call, so we can kind of just jump into it. Just going over some housekeeping first. We wanted to plug the shared resource site. PanCan does a really great job with keeping those trainings updated and, adding new ones as they need, providing some refreshers. So in particular, I've called out here a couple of resources that have to do with the event route. You had a course lead last year, is that right? Yeah. Do you know if they're coming back? If you're going to be looking for someone new?
Carrie, do you know if Jane's coming back?
Yes. Yes, she is coming back.
Oh, great. Okay. Right. Then, a lot of this is probably stuff they already know, but, it's still good to look into it. If you guys are ever curious about kind of our route best practices, you can find them here. We'll have a link to this, or we'll have this deck in your follow-up call, so you can just click on the links right here instead of having to go through that folder train.
So I have two questions.
Yeah.
Is it in the 25 folder or is it in the 26 folder? This says 25.
Oh my God, it says 25, of course. It will most likely also be in the 26. I'm sure you can find it there as well as the archive. I don't think this is a brand new, I don't think they did a new training video on the event route this year. So it'll be in the 26 folder, but it will be the same video as 25, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. And that was my second question. If there was differences between 25 and 26 that you need to highlight.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's the same. Sometimes we have new trainings. If they are new, they'll either kind of reference that in the document or the video, or we'll let you know, or Christina, of course, can let you know if there's new developments that you really should watch. But this is kind of just a refresher. So yeah, again, other than that, just always good to poke around in here, see if there's anything that's been updated. We also want to check in about our deliverables timeline. Our first round of documents has been uploaded to the shared resource site. And if you haven't looked at them yet, that's no problem. We're going to look over them on this call today. So all three of these things. And right now we're in the review documents on market call 2 phase. We're going to be doing this for about another week with the rest of the affiliates. And you'll have the end of this month to get us any initial feedback based on this call, and past this if you look into the documents a little further on your own. Anything that we get from you, change requests, questions, all of that, that is going to be, due on the 30th, and then we will incorporate that into the new documents that'll drop on the 9th of February, so next month. After that, with these new documents, you'll have some time to look them over, get us any additional edits, change requests, adjustments, all of that. You'll have basically all of February until the middle of March to get us anything else. And once we hit the 16th, that's kind of our big deadline that we have for you guys for changing any of these things. It gives us quite a bit of time from now until then to tweak things, but it comes up pretty fast. So it's just good to keep an eye on. Then we'll be incorporating that into our final round of documents. Well, slightly final on the 23rd. We'll be putting those in the shared resource site. And then we'll be reviewing those documents on our pre-event call. So the pre-event call is really to double check everything, make sure it looks good, mark it as like a capital F final to then put in the event book on the 17th in April. And that's about a week before the event. It's coming up fast. Do you guys have any questions on this? I know we went over it in October, but it's always a good refresh. All good? Great. We also wanted to check back on these infrastructure changes. Again, talked about it in October, but just wanted to give a reminder that you might see some of these changes on the sitemap we're going to look at. Since you are in that expanded package, again, there's not going to be a ton of changes, mostly just that the t-shirt tent is gone. I know we talked in October about Premier sponsors, and you guys had said that you're lining that up. Do you have that Premier sponsor secured for this year? Yeah. Okay. Great. So, and I know we had a question. You guys have 2 trusses. Is that right?
Correct. Has that been approved?
Yeah. So we ran that up to PanCan. And if you guys have that Premier sponsor, you will have those 2 trusses. So you're all good there.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are pretty much the big changes for you. Nothing else to really worry about. Last thing we wanted to mention, our weather contingency. We do have plans in place to deal with it. I'm sure you know, whether that's, freezing cold, rain, I don't know about heat, maybe. You never know, honestly, these days. So we do kind of look at those like about a week before the event, 10 days before the event, and see if any of these things are going to be hitting you guys. If they are, that's when we start to initiate ordering some of these extra pieces, stuff like the sidewalls, heaters, anything you'd need. If this does end up happening, we'll let you know beforehand so that you're aware that this is going to be coming for you if you need it. But yeah, anything related to weather, we're going to address before the event so we kind of have like the best idea of what it's going to look like day of.
And do we have any say in that decision? And the only reason I asked that is 2 years ago, we had a rain issue. And it was a challenge that day to address it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. If there are, so we have kind of a standard for the contingency of like, if it's raining, we have walls on the survivor tent, something covering the stage, kind of our typical go-to extra pieces. But if you guys have anything specific that you like want to ask for, like, I don't know, people complain about one tent in specific or one area, you can definitely let us know and we'll either be able to make that change or just run it up to for approval. Is there anything specific that you want to touch on?
No, it's not so much what you provide, it's making the decision to implement it.
Okay.
So Indiana weather is, I'm sure it's not like, it's no different than other states, but it can fluctuate on a dime. And so, a week prior, it may look great. And the day before, it does not. And so that's where we ran into problems, is that the decision was made 10 days prior, and then the weather was not the way it was the morning of. So that's why I was trying to figure out, like, how do we be a little more preventative as opposed to reactionary?
Yes. And Ashley, I don't know, you might have better idea of this, of like kind of the latest that we can communicate to the tent vendor if we need extra things. We do have this plan in place. That being said, we are in communication with the tent vendor like right up until the event. Ashley, do we have like a date for this vendor specifically of the last time we can add stuff?
Usually it is the 2 weeks, but I'm pretty sure purchasing mentions whenever they secure them, a weather contingency might come into place because they're out there too. But yeah, usually we do our final edits to them 2 weeks prior because they usually plan to hire their staff for loading out and whatnot. How long it takes to do that.
And
again, we're not going to have weather this year, so it's not going to matter.
Exactly.
But if we bring it up and we discuss it ad nauseum, then it just kind of makes it even better for us. So
yeah. And I know, Ashley, yeah, when it comes to that, our purchasing department can, yeah, have our final order and then have some pieces maybe on hold or like, uh, some asterisks being like, we might need this, maybe throw some extras on there. We can talk about that in the next call too. What those specifics are going to look like. I don't know if they've changed this year at all. Does that sound right, Ashley?
Yes, but like Colleen said, it's not going to be weather. It's going to be perfect.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect. Great. Awesome. Well, other than that, I can pass the screen share over to Ashley and she can take us through the sitemap, the route, and then we'll talk about the vendor order after that because it looks a little different this year. While she's pulling her screen up, I did want to confirm again our general timeline. So we have it here, a 9 a.m. opening, a 10 a.m. ceremony, walk start at 10:30, and event end at 12:30. Sound good?
Yeah.
And I also wanted to confirm, you guys are good with your in-kind golf cart all secured there. I know you guys got that pretty early, which was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kelly's being that, right?
So Carrie, it is hard to hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that?
Yeah. Okay. Wait, now I can't hear Ashley.
No, I am not talking.
Okay. I was like, oh
Sorry.
no, oh no, what's happening? All good, all good. Okay, good with the golf cart. That's awesome. We have that noted here. Thank you guys.
Carrie, I don't think we can hear you now.
Oh.
No, it's almost
No.
worse.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
There, if you lean in, I think.
If I lean in, probably
There you
close.
go.
Perfect. I already restarted my computer once trying to figure this out, and so I don't know what's up today. So
no. Technology.
Great. Cool. So yeah, I think we can kind of get into
Did we jump in?
the map. Yeah, I know Ashley you wanted to talk about maybe some changes, something like
Yeah, well, just a question because before we really dive in and y'all tell me what y'all want to change because I imagine you'll probably want to. First of all, these are placeholders from last year, the sponsors and the all-stars. But our AV vendor every year complains about the start finish line and how folks line up. Just throwing it out there to say I asked, what are y'all's thoughts if we like move the whole festival site just down a little bit? Is that going to be a big hindrance on you all? His concern is like when you start lining folks up, it like impacts the stage and they have like barricades around things and it becomes unsafe for the start line right here. So if we keep everything, the start and finish line there and just move, and we can move the finish line back a little bit so it's folks can enter through here and then we can open it up here so folks can come to the start line. But just moving this down the stage so it's like kind of behind this or in front of this amphitheater area instead of the circular stair plaza area. What are y'all's thoughts? I'm not there at the ground level. I know you all are. Just throwing this out there to say I asked.
So the only one thing that we continually struggle with is with the placement of the generator. And so the generator typically has to be on the concrete path somehow because it's got to be grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's typically where we run into the issue.
Okay.
I do think you would have to move the pro teams tent because what'll happen is we still need to get to the start. And so you need an opening to kind of, normally what we end up doing is pushing the pro teams. So like if you go back to the other one, we push the pro teams all the way to the tree line. So, and it opens up. So we end up extending the day of, we've always ended up extending it out
more.
so that, think of it, people have to go between the sound and the pro teams.
Mm-hmm.
And it usually stems from the generator has to be somewhere close to it. We tried to put the sound tent on the other side, but they had issues with that too.
Yeah.
We're recorded, so I can't give you all of my opinion on so I mean that would be the only, I mean, Carrie, I don't know, I mean, you're on the ground too, kind of seeing, you know, walking around. I don't think it would be an issue to move it over, but I think we will run into a generator issue. We'll have to push the survivor tent out a little bit too, because the finish line doesn't go on that walkway. There's not enough space for the truss. And so it ends up at a diagonal from, so if you go where like, I don't know, it ends up being on the grass at an angle. So they're coming down the stairs and then you angle it. And so you're kind of walking back into it. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm really glad we're talking because I want you all to have an accurate map too.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Trying to be close. Okay. No, the only thing I'm trying to find a picture. Colleen, can you remember what is that, like that circle of pavement that is steps?
It's steps that goes up and then, but we don't use it at all.
Right. And that's when I'm worried if the start line is already so like, I don't know, chaotic and like so crowded that I'm worried if the start line goes over the steps, we're going to have like tripping and people with strollers, or we're going to have issues there.
Yeah, we would
Is this where it is right now? Sorry, is this where it is right now? Like
it's a little bit further down because right there is where the generator is. And so, but that, I mean, that space is kind of small. And what happens is you have about half the people going through the start line and half the people just bypass it. Because if you see the other, just south of that, you see the other road there, both of those go across the bridge. And so we end up having everybody going on both sides of the bridge. Okay. But you can't put the truss in the middle because that's grass. And so, but you would have to have some kind of barricades in order to get them around the, that round circle.
Yeah, because the only picture I can find is like, I don't think but there's like, it's just like side steps.
Yeah.
So I just feel like that's going to be, dangerous. People just like walking into steps. So we would still need the barricades going around.
But it would save maybe the AV people having some anxiety of.
And let's see.
I mean, can we move it a little bit? Like not as much, but just a little bit.
You know, the other thing you can do is you can move everything kind of back, like kind of go to the east, I don't know, or to the right, you know, I mean, to kind of maybe give them a little more space too, but.
Sorry, I keep grabbing the wrong things.
And if it is a matter of staying close to the generator, Ashley, correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, obviously can't move it too far, but if it does make a difference to the AV company, even just like, I don't know, 50 feet, like 100 feet, we do have like extension cords if we can make that work without it being like too much of a tripping hazard. I know it's already near steps. Would that be a possibility here? I know I haven't like been on the ground and seen the layout.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a possibility. You know, the generator, my understanding is in order to get the generator, they can only drive on that south road and then they back it in. So it has to be kind of where that start finish line is. There's not a way to get the generator to the other side of the stage. And it's got to be grounded, which is why it is typically near the like the grass part of it. And I think right behind that little round part, it drops it goes down. It's like a hill.
Mhm. Oh, I see
Oh,
the, thank
right
you,
here.
Christina, for the picture.
Yeah. That's
Oh, I see. Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, did you put it in the chat?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
thank
that makes
you.
more sense.
The other thing too that I learned recently is the site may have power. I don't know if you've ever used the site's power before.
No, never even knew about that.
Yeah, so I will, and I don't know, I need to check in with the AV company and to make sure that there's enough power to make sure the event can go on successfully. But it sounds like there will be, especially if we're just doing spoken word and DJ from the site's end. So that's something I'm gonna look into with our team too, because that might help all of us, depending on where it's located. So I'll look into that, but it's good to know. And you said closer to the grass area. I'm trying to look at the picture too.
Yeah, just because it has to be grounded.
Okay, cool. Oh no, it took me away from you all. Sorry. There we go. Okay. And then for this map too, is this whole line pushed back to this tree line or just the?
Yeah, everything gets
Okay.
pushed back.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Makes it easier, hopefully, for you all to on the ground level working. I mean, I'm sure we work with the same tent vendor, but they're familiar. But just in case, they have an accurate map is always nice.
Yeah, and you know, we have an updated map from the day of last year. I will look to see if I can find it for you because we had to rearrange. It was like lots of changes happened right at the end, and so we rearranged things. And so like Purple Play Zone is we didn't necessarily, all we did was shift like the survivors down, and then we moved the photo area away so that all you had was like survivors, food and beverage, and Why I Stride to be, and so there was only 3 tents there, and then we moved the photo area over to where you have registration and check-in.
Okay.
And then take registration, volunteers, and photo area and move it all the way down because people are going to enter where it says in between Why I Stride and registration donations. That's the path that people come in.
Okay. From parking.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, they come up through here.
Yeah.
Oh, and while we're on the topic, I think one of the infrastructure changes that we're waiting, Hannah, you would know approval for is this tent. I think it's supposed to be a 10 by 10 this year, but we're asking about it being a 10 by 20.
The food and beverage.
Yeah, do you know if they responded about it?
Yeah, let me double check on that right now because I know we sent quite a few of them up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we've always had the 10 by 20. It's just much easier, you know, when you have 1,000, 1,100 people trying to get around, and we don't have it on all 4 sides. It's really only forward facing, because we don't have people going behind, the survivor. We tend to keep everybody in the middle, and so. I mean, if there's no rain, I guess we can extend it out and do something like that. But
yeah, so it looks like we're still waiting on the approval for that to make it a 10 by 20. But I will say, the infrastructure changes, like the 10 by 10 is like across the board for every market. And if you guys have like a ton of people there, or you guys have a ton of food there, like those are the kind of extenuating circumstances that create the need for a bigger tent. So we can let you know when that is approved or what the status of that is.
What about the why do I stride?
Yeah,
Is that? Yeah, so if I were to argue like which one is more important, the why do you stride? I mean, we use that as our main base to recruit volunteers, and I mean that's where a lot of our, like, we encourage people to get swag there. I mean, like, that's our way of drawing people to the affiliate. So if we had to, I think, pick one versus the other, I'd say I'd rather have why I do use Stride bigger,
Okay.
but
Okay, that's good to know.
I may not, we may not have the opportunity to have that.
Mhm. Yeah, and
You can always ask for sure.
yes, exactly. That's what we're here for. Yeah, there are multiple markets that have some extra requests depending, every site is different. So we have like lists and then we send that up and get it back.
Right, yeah.
So we'll let you know the status of those two specifically.
Is this looking more accurate, this map? If
yeah.
if you have any changes too that you would like to make.
I feel like it looks good. I think the only thing I can think of is I feel like the survivors, that row of tents maybe moves a little bit to the right. I feel like we normally have a bigger gap there for everyone coming
Yeah.
back in.
Like this way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like that, I think. So there's still an opening on the other side. Like that's more like it's been.
Yep.
Great.
All right. Jump to the route map, which should look exactly the same. Folks will head, well, I guess you go past the zoo first. So go across the bridge, go past the zoo, head up north. If they want it.
I think, or I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm still on the site map.
I'm so
all
sorry.
good. Teams is on one today. I mean, every
They
call
really-
it's something.
They really are. I'm
Yeah.
surprised it didn't. How about now?
It's good.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks for stopping me, Hannah. That would have been embarrassing the whole time.
Okay.
All right. So light purple, shorter route, dark purple, longer route. Folks both of them start by going across the Central River Trail Bridge, going past the zoo and heading up north. If folks want to turn around for the shorter route, they do that in West New York Street. And we have PD supporting as well. And then folks want to continue on the longer route, so they continue up north on the path and they cross over on 10th Street before heading back down to the festival sites, back to White River State Park. Should look exactly the same. Any changes? Everything looks good, works still. I know one year we talked about flipping it, but
yeah, there's stairs there and there's a bottle, like there's just no way.
yeah.
I mean, the only way you could do it is you flip the entire site. So instead of you looking out over the canal, you flip it so you're facing like downtown.
The city.
And doing something like that. And so it's just, which is a bit weird too, but I certainly wouldn't suggest making changes now.
Maybe we could talk about it in October next year.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. That's all
It's a good route. Cool.
Do you guys need to know about the water stations on where they are?
Are they different from previous years?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I would love to know that. Let me pull it back. All right. I know we had one up here previously, right?
No, so we switched that last year. It's difficult to get to. People will steal our water if we bring it earlier. And so we put it where the split is between the short and the long. So that way, yeah, so right on the corner there, it's much easier to access. And then people who take the shorter route can get some water. People who have the longer route can grab some water as well.
Great, thank you. I can definitely, is there another one or is that the only one?
No, we just did the one.
Okay, well, I'll add that. We do another map that you know of that'll be in the event book. So I'll update the water station on that map. Cool.
Great. For one of our final things, I'm gonna steal Ashley's screen share just to talk a little quickly about the vendor tracker. Colleen, you might know this as the IRF, as we sometimes call it or used to call it. It looks different than last year for sure, or years before. we did kind of like a total revamp of this where we're tracking all our vendors. As you know, we used to have it divided up by vendor, and each page sort of represented like the tent vendor, AV vendor, everything. That'll still be near the bottom, but we reformatted it so it's kind of more divided up by the area of the event, which we think is kind of a more intuitive way of looking at it, just for like the staff that's actually on the ground using it. I'll take you through this real quick, and this is definitely something that I'd recommend you go back and look at when you have a little bit more time. First thing to mention, this like first page on the shared resource site PDF, you don't really need to worry about this too much. Things like the instructions, all of this is more for our like purchasing and production team. So yeah, you don't need to follow these instructions or do any of this. You can kind of go past that. Where you'll start looking is at this vendor summary on the second page. You'll start to see the names of the vendors as we book them. There's not a ton on here right now, which is normal in the planning process. Eventually, you'll have their contact names and everything you need. Another thing to mention is that there's a lot on here right now. A lot of this stuff we're not going to need for PurpleStride. Things like, I don't know, down here we have fans and plywood, random stuff. Since this document is so new, we've put everything on here that we would ever need for any event, and kept it on here just to stop ourselves from accidentally deleting something that you do need, something special. But in future versions like February or the March document drop, a lot of this stuff will start to be taken out. So this is going to be the longest that it'll be. It'll only get shorter from here and more understandable. If you do have any questions about any of these things, you can always ask, but you can trust for right now that we don't need to worry about these not needed parts. After orders and distribution, this is where we get into more of the area by area view. First, we have 1, general site supplies, 2, general route supplies, and 3, site services. These are, I know I just said area by area, but this is kind of like miscellaneous stuff or things that just go around the event village, stuff like radios aren't under one specific tent, trash bag, that sort of thing. So you can look here to see just any miscellaneous. The zeros, those rows will be deleted out, like I said, to make it a bit shorter. Once you get to why do you stride, this is where we start to kind of go area by area. The idea here is that you can have this on the event and go through, make sure everything that's actually under that tent is what we have planned for and what we have on the order. Right now, a lot of this is orders from last year. So I don't know, things like the 10 by 20 tent, anything extra that you see here, this is all definitely going to be updated and like in flux. This is nowhere near the final version of this. So take it with a grain of salt. We'll see some different things on that February IRF or vendor tracker. But I just wanted to get you kind of familiar with the layout. Again, this goes through every tent that we have, pretty exhaustive. Survivors, volunteers, play zone, great. And then another thing to mention, with your all-star teams and your sponsors, these are just placeholders, again, kind of from what you had last year. Once you know your teams and your sponsors, we'll have their names in here, how many they have, everything that we need. And lastly, down at the vendor report, this is where you'll see like kind of more of the traditional IRF. So this was where it'll be set up by vendor, and you can go through and check that the tent vendor has 10 tents and 150 chairs, that sort of thing, so that whoever is using this on event day, whether it's like staff or volunteers, you can hold this up next to like the tent invoice and just make sure they match to make it easy. Do you guys have any questions on this? I know it was a pretty fast run through.
So Carrie and I can review this, and then if we have questions or changes, send it before the January 30th deadline.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Even if it's something that you're like, oh, we talked about this, I think it'll be changed, but I just want to check in. You can always let us know. We love having another pair of eyes on this. We check it over quite a few times, but it's always good. So yeah, if you do have any questions, this will be the general format. It'll definitely change, but if there's anything that you catch, just let us know. Other than that, that's kind of all we have to share with you. You know, the conversation definitely does not end when the call is over, and we might have some more updates for you guys. If you have any questions for us as we kind of get more into the details of things, you can always shoot us an email. We'll be sending you a follow-up email of this call with the recording and the deck and kind of any deadlines that we went over. But if anything comes up and we need to like set another call on the calendar before March, we absolutely can. If not, yeah, it'll be March till we talk again for the pre-event call, and we'll go over all the final details. But yeah, anything before that, just give us a shout. You can always reach us in the inbox, and we'll get back to you like as soon as possible in a couple of days. But if you guys have any other questions, or if you think of anything later, yeah, just give us an email.
Colleen, were you gonna ask about the truck? I don't know.
Yeah. So we do have one question. So we get a pallet of water donated, and we do not have the ability this year to have it transported to the site. We are going to see if the people who are donating, if the distribution center will deliver it for us. That's our first plan. But we need a plan B, that if that doesn't work, you know, we're talking about a pallet of water, maybe 1,600 bottles of water. How do we get it from the distribution site, which is maybe 20, 25 minutes from the downtown, to the actual, and we get it the day before, that Friday.
Okay. With that, I might have to get back to you on that, Ashley, unless there's anything standard that we do.
I would definitely like check in with Aaron on this. I will say for my DC event, because they also get donation water, the way they handle it is their staffer will rent a box truck, I think, and then they pick up the water and they bring it to the site on Friday. So I don't know if there's other like standard protocols though. So I want to check in with Aaron.
Yeah, I'll definitely check in about that to see if there is like an easy option that we can cover.
Right.
If so, we'll let you know. And yeah, if not, either if the distribution center doesn't cover it, yeah, you guys can rent a box truck or set something up to pick that up on your end. But I'll let you know if we have anything easier than that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a pallet. So it's like, you know, it's kind of it's not like DC where it's multiple pallets, like, and you need the box truck, but it's more than what a pickup truck can kind of handle.
Yeah. You all go through that much water? That's a lot.
It is a lot of water. We don't go through it all, but it's easier for the distribution center to give us a pallet of water than it is for them to just say, you know, but you're talking, it'll be like $200-300 bottles of water. That differs. It's not a huge amount. And so it's just for them, they're just like, here you go.
Enjoy. That's nice.
Yeah. So we do encourage a lot of water taking, like, hey, take some extra bottles to go home with you.
Yeah.
Everybody is fully hydrated.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll get back to you on that. Probably within, this week or next, we can let you know.
Okay. And like I said, we're going to try and see if we can get it delivered for us.
Okay.
But I'm going to take the free bottle or free water over the delivery. So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Great. All right. Any other questions you guys have for now? Extra things? Cool. Well, then we will talk to you soon in March, and I'm sure before that via email. Thank you guys for for everything you do and for jumping on this call. We give you guys the logistics, but you kind of bring it to life and make it fun. So thank you for that. But yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Ashley. Thanks, Hannah.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you guys soon.
Have a
Bye.
great weekend, y'all. Bye.
Bye.